once you know what the outputs are, you can then start to think about what kind of processes might directly generate those outputs. It's not a question of going, well, I like to do things experientially, and I think this time we're going to be teaching mathematics. We're going to put a circus in the room, and we'll have the kids learn multiplication by dressing up as clowns, because that's something I like to do. You can't work that way. You choose the method. You choose what goes on in the classroom on the basis of those outputs. So you have to match the strategy for teaching to the outputs that you want to generate. Now, once you've got appropriate strategies that generate the outputs, you then have to look at overall the strategy of the teaching, overall the structure of the program. So we have the strategies that generate the outputs, and then we have the training strategies and learning strategies themselves. It's here that you start thinking about what people are going to be bringing into the room. If you're working with a coherent group from one organization, they might all share certain kinds of experiences. If you're dealing with the public, it's a whole different matter. You know, the larger the training with the public, the more you're going to see a very broad spectrum of capabilities, competencies, basic humanity, and just high weirdness. And you have to be ready for all of those. And believe me, I've seen things. I've seen things you people couldn't imagine at the end of Blade Runner. In figuring out what they're going to be bringing in with them and what they may be missing, you then have a clue about sequencing. Because if, for example, you know, one of my clients wanted their people to go through to sit a professional examination at the end of a 2-week training. And this professional examination was far too intense and far too complex to do in a 2-week period. They were presuming that people would come in with all kinds of learning skills that they just didn't have. And we had to target quite finely to that examination to do what we could with the 2 weeks. And one of the first things that we had to check when we were doing the design was, did the people coming in know how to take tests? And one of the things we discovered was that most of them did not know how to take tests. So because that strategy was going to be called for as an output from the program, we would have to teach that. So we had to teach test taking. And I felt deep in my heart it was a waste of time and a waste of all of us coming together to be able to explore, to discover. Yeah, all that stuff has to go. These people had to learn how to take tests. That's what we had to have there. So we have the outputs, which determine what processes we're going to use. We have the difference between the processes that generate the outputs and then the learning strategies on top of that. And then we have the states that will naturally create the strategies that we're going to use, which lead to the outputs. You use that thinking about state in order to construct the style, in order to construct the architecture of the drama of the learning experience. Very, very important step, and that's where your skill as a trainer, your flexibility comes in big time. All of these things have to be practiced and learned. It was a big question. It's a big question. So that's answer one.